Hey guys, so we are digging in here, this little side note. Specifically, there's a lot of verses in Ecclesiastes that are going to be confusing at the first, second, third, 14th read through. And one of them is found here in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verses 12 and 13. Now, this side note kind of bridges the gap between two different sections that we're going to be studying here. And so I'm going to explain some details that we'll dig into a little bit more in a future video, but it also ties back into something we said. So that's why you're going to see kind of a reteaching of some material. Take a look at Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 12, and he's saying, "And I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For what can a man do that cometh after the king, even that which has already been done?" Pretty straightforward. He's just saying when it comes to experience, when it comes to life, I've done it all. You're probably not going to have a whole lot of experiences that I haven't had. You really can't. You don't have the means, you don't have the power, you don't have the privilege, you just don't. Now look what he says, verse 13. "Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly as far as light excelleth darkness." So the natural human tendency when we hear about vanity and vexation of spirit is to go, well, what's the point? What is the point of pursuing wisdom if it doesn't matter anyway? And Solomon's point is not to say that at all. He's actually saying, no, you should still pursue wisdom. It will not help you avoid death. However, it will most likely give you a better life. It's not a promise. It's not a guarantee. It's not a 100%. But man, if we can use the expression of hedging your bets, if you're gonna hedge in one way or another, hedge toward wisdom, because that's going to help a lot more than being a fool. And look at how he says this, verse 13. "Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly, as much as light excelleth darkness." So if you're trying to see your way through life, using the lens of wisdom is going to be so much better for you. So wisdom is going to excel folly so much better that it's like night and day. But then look what he says in verse 14. And if you understood that illustration, verse 14 will make perfect sense to you. "The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness." So this is where he gets into this idea of a wise man is someone who's walking with his eyes fully open. He's seeing in the light of wisdom. He's seeing how life works. He's making wise choices. Again, one event still happens to both of them, but it's a lot better to have your eyes open and go into it seeing. But then look what he says, "But a fool walks in darkness." So if I can use this illustration, a wise man's going to be someone whose eyes are like this. A wise man's eyes are in his head. They're right here. He's using them. But then he says, "But a fool walks in darkness." Remember, this is that Hebrew poetry aspect. And a fool is going to walk through life like this. He's going to keep his eyes closed. He's going to be blinded. He's not going to see what's coming on. A wise man is going to let the light come in. A fool is going to go, "No, I'd rather not see it," and just stumble into it. So that's kind of this illustration that he's playing at. And that's why, even though ultimately, as he points out in the end of that verse, one event still happens to both of them, it's still better to be that way.